The battle for the believer is to open their heart, to dispel the magic of their illusions that they cast upon the eyes of people, the ears of people, the minds of people, so that they no longer can even understand what they see, what they hear, what they thought somebody said. The magic show has started, and this life is about staying strongly connected to those whom their hearts are open, and that the illumination that comes within them is internal and not external. If you rely on somebody who needs to see the light to guide you, then what happens when they turn off the lights in the house? You and him will be blind. But when we follow those whom they don't need the illumination of the outer world because their hearts are illuminated into the heavenly realm, and through their illumination they see through all the spells and mischief and deceit.
Hello everybody, welcome to Untwisting Time with my brother from another, Cassidae Lightwing over there. Like I said, we got the ticker tape right, so it's telling you right now. I've got the man, the myth, the legend, and a great friend of mine, because I've been so infatuated with the pyramid finds, and I told my brother that I definitely wanted to have a conversation with him. Now, there's a lot of people out there that I wouldn't even want to just waste their time, because he's so passionate, because he thought about this and talked about some of the things that he knew about at a young age. But I'll let you say more of that. Benny Trent, Cassidae Lightwing, you want to say what's up to everybody and, tell them, a little bit about, what you, man, if I get off into it, I would want to say, Cassidae, when did you start thinking about these pyramids, and tell me more about what it is that you know what it is.
Well, for one thing, I want to make it very, very clear, because a lot of people have asked me. It's not a psychic impression. It's not like a astral travel thing. What it boils down to is I'm telling the truth about who and what I am and where I'm from. So I learned about this stuff in school, just out of town. I have to tell you, though, even I was completely unprepared for the level of accuracy. And I have to admit that freaked me out for a few days. I had to get that under control. So what he's talking about, folks, for those of you who haven't seen shows with me before, basically a lot of people, they've held back on what they see and what they believe because they're afraid to be wrong. I'm one of those jerks who goes full bore, full forward. And if I turn out to be wrong, oh, well, I was wrong. I like being wrong. Problem is, I wasn't wrong about this. So essentially what happened was, when, for those of you who are aware of the disclosure on the pyramids, the findings that the structures underneath the pyramids are pretty much way, way beyond anyone's imagination. That touched off a similar wave of disclosures. So now basically even the CIA and the government are basically throwing up their hands and saying, okay, the psychic stuff is real. We are all in trouble. Yeah. So the structures underneath the pyramids have very, very specific purposes, and the fact that they're there is scaring the crap out of the governments around the world, because they know what those things are supposed to do. And this feeds into some other stuff, like, for example, the elites, the billionaires, the politicians and whatnot, they're all buying these bunkers and whatnot way, way, way underground, right? The event that they're all worried about is coming. It's true. It's actually on the way. It really is a astrophysical event that's happening. However, the machines under the pyramid, part of what they do is protect this planet from what's about to happen. Because this happens about every 150 years or so, and then they reaches what's called the solar axiom, whereas it's like the axiom of axioms, and that's where we're at right now. But whenever one of the whenever the sun does one of these kinds of events, you get some very serious problems. I want everybody to look up Carrington event in Google. Carrington event. That's what happened last time. And the problem is that what's happening this cycle is this is what's called an axiom. It's going to hit way, way harder, and it's what it does.
Can I ask you, Cuz, are you, is this dealing with like the magnetics of the Earth? How they say that the Earth could flip off its magnetic poles, and the
Right.
results of that? Is that what you?
Kind of. So the magnetic poles are flipping. This is a natural occurrence. It's happening wrong this time though, and we'd have to do a whole show to cover that. The poles aren't flipping like they should. They're flipping in a very, very erratic state, and that's part of what the problem. So you, instead of having let's see, we need a round object. There we go. My coffee. So this is the Earth, right? That's what the
Right.
poles should be like. Okay, up and down, opposite each other. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
What's happening is that they're flipping like the hands of a clock, and quite frankly, nobody knows what to do with that. And
Yeah.
the astrophysicists and whatnot, the ones who know what the Earth's electromagnetic field is for and what it does, they're basically making plans for the end of the world, because they don't understand. The part of the technology that I've been trying to bring to this planet involves all this stuff. Folks, I was done, right? I was absolutely done. Never give up, never surrender, but also know when you're beat. I was done.
Right.
Of all the stuff happening around, like we're facing another round. Like the Jehovah's Witnesses got to another group, so now we're being run out of another town. I was done. I was like, you know what? The humans have made their choice. Try again in 300 years. No, I was absolutely done. And then this shit happened.
Wow.
And it's like, okay,
I mean,
can't be done yet.
let me just ask you something. If I can interrupt you for a second, so.
Sure.
Like I said, when they did the SAR and they showed the pictures, and they showed the depth is higher than what the Wiz Khalifa is above ground, with these pillars that go down that's connected to some type of chambers. Now I know it's just off branch, and I'm glad you told me not to even play the video. It's better than Star Wars itself that shows the guy walking around down there with the aliens in the blue water, and he's got some copper wrapped around a pole that was like what, at least 5 feet deep. Now I'm pretty sure these things are way bigger than that, and it's going to take way more time to even get down there. And one of the posts that I put up in Facebook, I was just making a correlation between the pillars of Earth and what those pillars are, because they were pillars. So me, I'm simple-minded. So, and a lot of people, they came out with a lot of different theories and hypotheses. Some I just don't even freaking believe. Some of the wildest stuff. But you were saying earlier, and I appreciate you bearing with me, brother. We were supposed to start earlier, but like I said, it's a brand new branding of Untwisting Time, and soon, the Truth of Lies will be out. And like I said, my brother's always there with me, because I tell people all the time when they ask me about things that's dealing with aliens or how many races there are, I go to Cass, because I know he knows way, way more about. He was teaching me, he's got the dragons over there of Atsu and Tiamat. I know what that is, because that's one of my range of thinking. But when it comes to stuff like this, hey, I defer to somebody that knows better than me, and him right there. Now, let me ask you this, because here goes. I just want to throw at some of these theories that I've heard, brother, and you tell me if it, chump it or dump it. Okay, some people, they always talk about the vortex. I mean, who doesn't know that the pyramids, that when the limestone was on there, it causes some type of vortex? Would you say they got to get a little more deeper with that, go back to school a little more, or that's a good direction on what you say and what it is?
They're not wrong at all. Point of fact, I'd like you guys try to think of this structure, instead of think of it as the pyramids, right? Okay. Try to think of the pyramid as the top of the structure we're looking at. Imagine you were looking at this structure before all the sand, right? Let's just pretend.
Correct.
Now it goes deep into the stone, don't get me wrong, folks, but I'm just saying, let's pretend it's a skyscraper for a second.
Yes.
So not only there's some sacred geometry at play. Anyone who knows of sacred geometry even a little bit is aware that the pyramid structure generates energy. Just having a pyramid of any material just lying around, if you could look at that with an electromagnetic spectrum lens, you would see a little vortex going on around it. Now add into the fact that the stones that go into the capstone, the ones that we all know of, they're, as the Egyptologists found, there's different kinds of stone around different around the different structures in the pyramid. They all work together though. And then, as what was discovered very recently, is that if you were able to pump a large amount of electricity through the pyramid, it would create an X-ray, like an X-ray blast pointed at the Orion's belt. And they discovered that, with good old-fashioned chemistry. So it gets really, really deep into it. But no, there's no way anybody's gotten that far down in. I mean, so there's lots of rumors and stories as to why this is, but humans have not been able to get further down into the pyramid and come back alive. And there's a reason for that. I don't know what that reason is, but I believe the story that I believe says that there's a yellow field that you can't get through. And according to the story, Geraldo Rivera and his camera crew were with the team when they found this yellow field. So there are lots of psychics who believe they can take down the yellow field if given the chance, but they're not going to get a chance because, they can't survive the radiation. Beyond that field is a level of radiation that is comparable to the radiation you experience when you approach Mount Kailash. It will kill you. It will kill you dead. You will not get to the pyramid.
Wow. Even worse than the Indiana Jones when he got the crystal skull and the darts start going at him, and it's always some type of booby trap in there. They used to say they had cats in the pyramid. Is it even way past that? Is that what you're saying? You're giving me a compass of it, brother. Is that you're saying that don't even compare to what we're dealing with here?
Because there's cats in the pyramid at Khufu, and they're sorry. Oh God!
Yeah, it happens, brother. I do the same thing.
Because the radiation at Mount Kailash, what it does is it ages you, as if you're entering and going deeper and deeper into some kind of temporal singularity. Basically, that's one of the things that like the Sherpas there will tell you to turn back once your nails start to grow fast. And they're like, okay, time to go. We gotta go.
Wow, being mutated. You're starting a quick mutation to where you're dead, huh?
Well, I'm not sure if it's a mutation. I think it needs more study. We need more study. But I suspect what's happening is, what's at the top of Mount Kailash is a singularity. So what will happen is the biological material, really anything from the third dimension approaches it. The more it approaches it, the faster it will age. And this includes the stone and everything like that as well. But I mean, stones age pretty well,
Right. Right.
So if the radiation, if that particular story is true, then the radiation under the pyramids is the same as at Mount Kailash, and that checks out mathematically and scientifically. I shouldn't say mathematically because I don't know math very good. I don't number very good. My people use a completely different form of mathematics. But what I'm saying is, like, even back in Aleister Crowley's day, people were saying there should be something here, there should be something there. Hey, Matt, there should be something at these places. And time has borne out that this is absolutely correct. My favorite one is Göbekli Tepe.
Yes. I'm so fascinated with that, man. That's going to be the next one that I'm going to have to pick your brain about, bro, because I just have these hypotheses in my head, and bro, that's why I say, man, have patience with me, please, bro, because I pick your brain. If you didn't know that by now, I've been picking in there for about 4 or 5 years now, man, because it helps me, man. I really do. I respect you. You are one of my mentors in learning stuff, whether I can, I tell people all the time, hey, Cassidy says, just like we're saying in this show right now, we're not trying to teach you something. This man might know some things that you don't know. And in order for you to even have a hypothesis or a theory that you can arrange in your brain cells, you need to listen to some people that at least have thought something way past through. I mean, he started back in, junior high, probably elementary, drawing pictures, in visions about this, to where, those type of things become self-manifesting. Let me just tell you something that I asked Eldon earlier about visions, would something be a vision, and like just saying how I'm looking at these pyramids and these structures, and then I imagine something that it could be. If I was right, would that be a vision, or what would you call that?
I would call that a vision. What a lot of people tend to glom a lot of things together in visions, and then under the umbrella term of visions, and then it gets really, really messed up from there. But the thing is, you can a vision is classified as anything that where your consciousness is getting information from another time or place. You know, so this could be like a lot of people have prophetic dreams. You know what I mean? A lot of people,
Right.
especially women. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the it's a sad phenomenon. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but like mothers will very often feel it when their child is injured, like all the way at college. Kid breaks their knee in football practice. The mother is just washing dishes, doobie doobie doo. Suddenly, oh God, my knee. You know.
Right. I can't even see those. I got the camera turned there. I can't really see too good there. There we go.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like you can.
And yes, Matt, peace. So yeah.
What does it read there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I can barely see it. It's in small script over here. It says, if many says for the record, what unwarranted authorities are trying to look for the inevitable behind. Is that inevitable? Inevitable behind, above, even below the plateaus. Never fear, because it was very much concealed by a high vibrational frequency that will make the average person very sick. Like what you was talking about. They may even die due to frequency as well as radiation that's beneath the plateau and the monument. But damn, I didn't know. Hey, I didn't know you could get just toe up from some frequencies too. They got frequencies that high that'll kill. They got killer frequencies out there.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I've been trying to get the community to understand that there is something to be said for experience and education, not just going off, half cocked on the visions you saw during your awakening. Um, the Hindus are very, very familiar with this, to the point that like men are not allowed to enter certain women's ashrams and vice versa, and nobody's allowed to enter certain ashrams without these copper rings. What these copper rings is they normalize your vibration, so you don't fly apart at the atomic level.
Right.
I don't know if I believe that would actually happen, but apparently it's been enough of a problem that it's like you can get prosecuted for trying. So,
right. Wow. Real laws and regulations on that too. Couldn't call Scotty to beam me up, Scotty, and Ali got caught and the beam didn't work on that one episode. Man, I tell you, there goes Draconian, Black Flame, Love, Peace, and Bacon Grease. Hey, what's up, Draconian? I know that's one of the homeboys there on the Cassidy's crew there. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, I said that about the visions earlier because that's what I was going to ask you. Oh man, there goes the dragons.
Check it
out. There goes the dragon.
We are going.
Jack says, men bacon. Is that men bacon? Now, when you was talking about earlier that you had thought about this at a younger age, did you get visualization of what this is, or that's how your understanding of it is so strong because it was downloaded at an age to where you took into investigation about it. Like I said, I know you're not Cassidy Lightwing with all the polymath information in your brain for no reason. It took some time to get up in there. But would you say that that's what it is that you got to get to your information? Was you visualize, or did you just learn, or is this associated with the other part of the bloodstream that you have there?
So keep in mind, folks, I do have a very severe head injury, right? I basically have a permanent concussion, permanent temporal lobe concussion. It affects my attitude, affects a lot of things. One of the theories that my skeptics have, which is actually pretty reasonable, is that blow knocks some shit loose. And you know how like somebody will take a head wound and then they can speak French or whatever? That's their theory.
Yeah.
Thing is, in my memory, before the car accident, we can't trust this. But in my memory, I remember remembering all of this. Like, I thought everybody was playing a game when I was a little kid. The spirit, which I would later name Raphael, my spirit guide, whatever you want to call it, and he told me that whoever talks about it last wins. So everybody's playing a game, so don't talk about it. I thought humans could all see it too. I thought everybody understood. And I learned the hard way that I was wrong. So it's not a psychic impression, it's a memory. So let's pretend for the sake of argument that what I'm saying is true. And if the audio is low, thank you, Matt, for the tip on that. So when you're training to come to Earth, training to become a human, you get a lot of training. It takes a long time. Okay, like to get assigned to Earth is a great honor. That being said, you're not supposed to remember your training. That's how the whole thing happens. It's supposed to sit there in your subconscious and guide your actions in that way until such time as you're ready to fully remember who you are, which most people never get to that point.
Yeah.
I fucked up. I screwed up. Okay. This is one of those things like I'm not supposed to be here. All right. If this were an episode of Star Trek, I was the alien that got blown out the airlock in scene 2 to prove the situation was serious. You know what I mean? Like, nobody.
Yeah, I do.
You know?
No. Yeah.
So I didn't come here properly. That being said, you know, if you're a person of faith, you understand everything that happens as in according to his plan. So, or her plan, whoever, whatever you want, however you want, choose to visualize, you know, the Great Spirit. So obviously this is in a plan somehow. I just don't know how. But yeah, we're not supposed to remember all this stuff at all, you know.
Correct. But that, you know, that's when you did get when the memories came back, do you think they came back when they finally did this SAR and you seen that? And then, because I know you've been telling me, I told you back then, and you was telling everybody around, you know what I'm saying, where I do remember you talking about, you know, in old shows where people just brought up different things and everything. You know, a lot of people you guys don't know. I've done shows with Cassidae a long time now. And I do remember some of the things. I wish I could have pulled up some of those for the show to, you know, make it even a little more prophetic. You know, I just add a little civilization here. But you did talk about it. Let me ask you, what do you think the outcome is without asking you all the way yet, which I'm going to ask you. But what is the outcome from what these things can do? Or tell me what they're made to do, man. Quit leaving me in the dark here, man.
Well, the machinery down there does a lot of things. What the most important thing that it does that's relevant to our current situation right here is it helps regulate the electromagnetic field. It helps facilitate the proper flipping of the electromagnetic poles, and it keeps the continent stable so things like Atlantis don't happen again. You know, Atlantis wouldn't have happened if they hadn't shut the machines off, and that there's a whole thing to that. Okay, so
that's it.
Long story made very, very short. TLDR version on that one. Basically, the Younger Dryas event had to happen, and as it was, turning off the machines to let the Younger Dryas event happen. So
Matthew told us both to quit smoking, man. Hey, that's what happens. Hey, when those intellectuals get together like that, Matt, you know. Hey, I don't got that chat bot you got, man. Hey, and she's cute. I want to tell you that, Matthew Turner. I got the light wing over here, man. I'm referring to. If you wouldn't mind, I'll bring you on a little bit later, Matthew, just because I'm interested in other people what they think these pyramids are, and that's basically what we're doing. I'm kind of not interviewing. He's my boy, but I'm interviewing Cassidy's mind on what this thing is, because like I said, when I posted about the about first the pillars of earth, because there's biblical verses that talk about that. That was just the correlation that I had, because they were pillars, but then these things are connected to chambers, and plus they're deep in the earth. So I thought maybe an anchor for the pyramid, so that, with those flooding of the Nile, and they know that there's deeper, recesses of the Nile that they had known before, but they didn't find out till the droughts. That's where I was going through some pictures today. So I've just been trying to figure out, me and Eldon, I was just picking his brain about it. Like when that silly video came out, I was like, how is it possible that this dude is down there talking? I mean, to excavate away that much sand to get down there in there and filming all this stuff, it's going to have to take some time, but how long do you think it would take? And like you said, would it be possible to try to do that? Or is it too deadly to try to even, mess with trying to get down there to what it is? Or do you think it's best to analyze it first before they ever try?
Well, this is where it sort of all dovetails together, and so the first thing I want to say to everybody is that this discovery, everything else goes on the back burner, right? This is now a matter of global survival. Okay.
Okay.
So everything else goes on the back burner. What was the question?
But really, what? Oh God, I forgot, man. There's so many questions I want to ask you. But what do you really, with the find and it's being seen, do you think it's safe for them to try to go down there to see what it is, or should they even try, or should it take more observation through these things, the SAR and that site, LIDAR and everything?
What I think should happen is that the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities should accept my offer and let me shoot my shot. If I can't do it, screw it. They've lost nothing. And if I can pull it off, then that opens it up for the rest of the kind of discoveries. And for those of you who are wondering, the part of the whole plan, it was this offer. It's made to the king, which obviously we don't have kings and so much anymore, but basically everything down there belongs to Egypt. They're not going to get a better deal. That's our deal. It's all yours. As in, it all belongs to to Egypt. They are the ones who are saddled with the responsibility. They should bloody well deserve get the fortunes and the riches. Thank you very much, Katie. The only exception to that is if the sort of Priapishnikar is down under the pyramids, which I don't think it is. I think it's under Angkor Wat. But if the sword is down there, that's the only thing. They can't have the sword. Nobody can have the sword. No human can have the sword. It's one of those things. I'll be happy to explain it someday, but for now, that is not for human hands, not even to study. You are not ready yet, and that's not a mental.
What?
That's it will turn your flesh inside out thing.
The pillars itself, or with the things that are down there under the pillars? Or are you talking about the whatever they said, those box looking things?
No, the pylons, they're fine. Well, I don't see them emitting any radiation on their own. That's a problem. The problem is whatever's causing the radiation to keep humans out, because you're supposed to be able to go down there. It's a facility. If the radiation is doing what they say it is, then something is broken and needs to be fixed. And quite frankly, I'm fairly sure that my people can survive the radiation. Now, that being said, I want to make this very, very clear. If, like, for example, like we get what I want, like Christmas, right? We go down there. If my fingernails start growing and I start getting the aging, I'm out. Okay, I'm not looking. We'll figure something else out. If I'm not immune to the radiation, I'm not just going to go, okay, time to die now. Like if that's really what it takes, okay. But like we got drones and shit, folks. There are other options than dying down there.
Hey, put AI on it. Hey, AI is doing everything else, man. Hey, let's send a little bot down there or something,
Right.
So,
if we do manage to get permission to go down there, the moment that kind of radiation is affecting anybody, they're heading back to the surface pronto. We can do this. There's no reason to lay down a life for this. So yeah, that's our deal. I've talked to Eldon a little bit about this, and like we have a plan. So like we'll get paid. Don't worry about us. We'll get ours. I've come to learn that payment and equivalent exchange is very important to humans, and that drives me batty. But whatever. It's like
It's supposed to be at least a 20% finder's fee for any great find. I thought it would be. You guys find what's going to stop the Earth from exploding and blowing up and the ley lines turning into some spaghetti lines. Hey, I'd say give you more than all the billionaires and trillionaires on the planet. Give them their own country. You know what I mean? I tell you the truth. I see Christopher Peoples here with Omni Collective Creativity says the Great Pyramids of Giza of Mount I think it's Kailash are believed to emit powerful electromagnetic and I think he means solar wave frequencies that can disrupt human biometric fields.
yes.
Yeah, kind of like what Cass was saying, that it'd get to the point where it's way too much. Shit, those pillars, they just at the tip of the iceberg. It's true. True. Hey, let me ask you. I'm so glad to see you. Both of you guys on. Hey, Matt, if you want to come on, bro, and just give us your opinion of what's on you, of what your opinion is with it, you're welcome to. I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, and I can send you a link if Cass is okay with it, just to hear because I'm not done asking Cass some of the questions because he was like he got to talking about if they're turned on or if they're turned off, and I'm really interested in the effects of if this thing started doing what it's built to do. What the hell? I mean, does that mean that we're gonna is it gonna cause a it's all kind of cataclysms that's already happening, and they've got asteroids flying toward us, and you were even talking earlier about solar flare that just missed us by wee amount. And so many people go on every day just jumping in their car, going to work and watching their favorite TV program. Where, people like yourself is looking into stuff like that, aware of stuff like that. And that just shows me like the Orson Welles thing, there's so many people. I don't know what some of the people that call themselves awake is, but I consider that awake. And a lot of other people are asleep. That's awoke. So what's really going on around you, your planet, your solar system, your universe, is people look up into the skies and they see stars and don't understand those stars you're seeing is just like that sun that we have. Those are other suns, which the sun is a star. So, to know, I'm going somewhere else with this, if you wonder, Cass, that someone had asked the other day, somebody asked Eldon, how many alien races there was on the planet. And what alien race does he feel that he was connected to? And Big Brother, he just, he that's not he ain't going there. And I told him that my concept of what I heard was 40 to 80. I'm talking about the ones that been on and through this planet within this 4.5 billion years, not how many there is. And he even said himself, that's the only thing that Ellen said. It's probably more than whatever the concept that people can come up with if you're thinking in a constructive way. But what is let me ask you, what is there supposed to be? How many different alien races? Because that's what kind of goes back to these pyramids. Did they one race started and the other one finished, or did one do the whole thing in this manner, or what do you think? Do you think they went to Home Depot back in the and they're like, okay, y'all want to help us build this? Can your race help us and do this? Hey, we helped the Ukraine over there with their war. Hey, it could happen if the Anunnaki was at war with each other. Hey, could you reptilians come and get under that water for us and put those pipes down there? Real shit. That shit could happen. I mean, what is your concept on that? I'm a little crazy.
All right. Well, first off, I don't think anybody can say for sure how many different races visit this place. A lot of what is happening is that the different forms of entity exist at different vibrations. So a lot of the races that are visiting here can't even see each other. Like they know each other's there, but it's like the moon. In the center of the moon is getting into plasmic reality now. just understand that the advanced races, tech level 1 and beyond, are perfectly aware of the nature of vibrational reality. So they can build one on top of each other and exist all in different vibrations, never even truly interacting with each other than through the technology. So it's the same. It's the same in a lot of places. Anywhere where you have a plasmic reality matrix, this is what you have going on, right? And I would like to point out for those of you who are fans of David Icke and fans of the esoteric,
Here.
David Icke was scheduled to appear on Esoteric Hours. Okay. We
Mm-hmm.
know our shit. So
Right.
yeah. Dang it! All right. Thank you, Matt, for the. I'll try to lean in and talk more.
Voices from Matt. I sent you a link there. If you open the link, bro, you like I said, you're welcome to come in and so we can get your, I'd love to ask you I'll give Cass the floor for a bit and listen and just participate this way. Okay, that's great. But yeah, I just seen that. I'm glad to have you in the audience there, man. Like I said, I've you finally figured out who I was when I kept saying, the Anunnaki teacher Ki, and I appreciate you sending that shout out on your last show. But Cass, you were saying, I can't see all of that, Matt. So I see you in the house there. Voice the Plateau itself, as well as his team, has walked over things and even walked through things many times, and others can see in physicality. Again, brother, we do need to worry about what was down there to be stolen and exposed by those that are not resonating at the frequency to expose it, because they will never even see it. Cassidy, understand what I'm saying? You think, or elders should technology with frequency weaponry? I think I said that pretty good there. I don't know if I real good, but thanks. And Chris says it sounds like particle displacement fields that would turn people inside out or displace the atomic arrangements of people as security mechanisms. Now, kind of with that right there, what you were saying, just a while ago, Cass, about, that the radiation could affect, us as humans. And, that what is it that can ultimately happen with this thing itself there? What is it that is the worst thing, worst case scenario is what I want to know. What could we do wrong, or could we trip something that we're not supposed to be messing with? I don't have any volume on you, Cass.
Oops.
There you go.
I had it muted from when I had Ray plug in the power cord. Oops, sorry. But yes, that's actually one of the main issues that needs to be understood. Like, how many stories of Egyptologists dying from some curse or other are there? And then science further investigates and finds out, oh well, this is how this quote unquote curse happened. Like for example, the various things in King Tutankhamun's tomb. Or was it a curse, or was it powdered asp venom? Which is it really? Yeah. Who knows? The thing is, what a lot of folks, especially this new crop of metaphysicians, do not understand is that real metaphysiology, not nonsense, pop culture crap, but real metaphysiology 101. Don't fuck with Egypt.
Right. Real shit.
People who disregarded that and did their psychic projections into the pyramid and completely cracked. Like, done. They couldn't even talk about what they found. They were done.
Wow.
So you guys have to understand there are protections. They are real. And these little pop witchy YouTube shit ain't gonna cut it.
True. I mean, and what kills me is they say about the Egyptian government. I mean, do they just want to keep all of this just for their own knowledge, or trying to ascend before others? Or why is it, I can understand that there's been grave robbers throughout time in Egypt, and because more of the obelisks and all that other stuff in England and all around the damn world. that they took out of Africa. I mean, not Africa, out of Egypt itself, but you know, is it more to it that they have over there, the Egyptian government? Do you think that they're trying to become superpower in the future by what they have? I mean, they're already grandfathered in to me, but
I can answer that, but
thank you.
so here's the thing. One of the issues that I've been having is, so Westerners are the only people that give me any shit about any of this. So what people have to understand is that the people that run Egypt, right, all the ministers and whatnot, they are all men of faith, and I believe most of them are Muslim. Actually, I don't know the statistics on that. So you guys have to understand that we have a very particular in with the Muslims. The imams that we've spoken to, like, they're on board. We have a bigger head start than people think. See, when I first started doing videos, especially after Klee, you know, I started getting calls from everybody, freaking everybody. And one of the things that I had to deal with was that the Muslims put out a fatwa, I think is what it's called, on me. Because reason being is because the Quran says that if there is a human who can heal, then they're actually of shaitan, the devil. And they're there to, mess with you. They're there to send you off. So I was getting targeted by the Muslims until some of the information came out. And now the situation is vastly different. And what that is okay, so Westerners, bear with me, okay, that this is a deeply spiritual thing. The Muslims are convinced that we are fire jinn. They know we're here. I wasn't even the first one they met. Okay. So we have an in. They know that they know what the fire jinn are there to do. And more importantly, they know the fire jinn serve Allah, or whatever name you want to say. I don't like preaching to humans, but yeah.
I got tired of it too, man. That's why I started studying shamanism. Not being a shaman, but just the practice of peace. And humans, they want to fight the AC Jack there. What did he say? That was a quick one there. That one went up. Okay, have to go for the night, but it was great being able to listen in. Good night and miss you, Cass. I missed him too, man. Like I said, hey, if I don't get a dose of Cass at least once a month, man, what I'm saying, I'm lost in my thoughts. I think too much as it is, man. I woke myself up this morning. It's like, hey, I was like, hey, you better call Cass about this there. And then you called me, bro. And that was, to me, like I said, I'll be telling Ellen about some of these things, man. Destiny. I don't believe in destiny. I believe in the vision of, all the way back to what Matthew Turner says, the frequencies are all on the same line, and we got there. And right. I couldn't call that astroplaning or whatever, but you're right about some of that sometimes when we're on that same mission and the same thing to bring the truth, it seems to always come to the light. It comes clear and we come together and, like I said, I'll say it like this because I am a minister. Really God puts us together. Go ahead, sir. I'll talk to you.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. Katie's falling asleep in her chair. I want to get this out before she passes out. I want to remind everybody. So number one, I've said from the very, very beginning that all of the dramas and troubles, that is nobody's fault except my family. Okay. I can have attitude about shit, but here's the thing. Now that information, once that came out about the pyramids, it's time to put everything aside and just work for the greater good.
Amen.
If anybody wants to, we can pick up our grudges later. But right now, this is a survival thing. So I just want to
excellently said, because and that really comes. I don't know why, but it's staying in my head, man. And seeing all of these new finds, it's blowing my mind. I mean, not just that what they're showing with the SAR, but just the implications of rewriting history again, which they normally keep doing. Well, they've missed rewriting it for a while because they wrote it wrong in the beginning because the concepts were too small and not thinking on a big level, and it takes that type of level of thinking to try to understand something that's way past our technologies of today. They still can't figure out how the pyramids got built. Now they got stuff up under it that's way bigger than it itself. So I'm like, okay, enough drama. Cass, what kind of damn button can they turn on and what's going to happen, man? Am I going to get fried? I'm already caramel. I'm not trying to get any darker, man. I don't want to be outside looking like a damn burnt up marshmallow. Help me.
Okay, you might want to get Matt in on this one because he actually has a lot more knowledge than.
What's he come on?
But essentially, it all comes down to the king's chamber. There is a proper way to address this, and basically, people, historical figures who have done what needed to be done, they've all followed the right path. You know, Napoleon Bonaparte did the right thing. He presented himself to the Sphinx first. You see what I mean? He was in the right order. Right. That's why he was given the gift. You know.
Wow.
Exactly. That's what I was just saying. Matt has more knowledge in this area.
Wow. You just kind of blew my mind with that. You just kind of made me think about Saddam making himself Nimrod on, a lot of the pictures, how they present yourself and, the character of getting into or aligning yourself with these type of, these, hey, man, these Hermes Trismegistus, from Thoth to Hermes to, the mindset of being in that, because, my concept, not just the Emerald Tablets, but the Book of Thought. Emerald Tablets is one thing. The Book of Thought, you have to be on a conscious level to be able to open that, to get to understand what the Book of Thought is. You can read the Emerald Tablets because that's what it's telling you, how to get to the Book of Thought, just like they say the Halls of Amente. And that's another, another one of the theories that's out there, that it's the Halls of Amente that's down there. And, all of the stuff that's happened over time, that somehow those machines are able to read these civilizations. That's one of the theories I've heard, brother. The lady, she put a little more to it. She told me that they took a trip to go see the Dalai Lama, and they jumped into a 5-passenger orb and traveled to Earth and under the pyramids. I don't know. I done had some drop tops, bro, but I ain't had a 5-passenger orb yet. You know what I'm saying? But just saying. But some of the things that she said, though, that's what it kind of makes you think sometimes, that, people on the right path, but you never know.
Ultimately, that's why I decided to do this show. I've been trying to do this show. I've been trying to scrape up enough gumption to do the show for the last few days. And then when I was talking earlier and you said, hey, you want to do a show? I'm like, that's it. That right there. That's why I couldn't do it. Okay, awesome. But yeah, it's exhausting. Everybody and their dog right now is trying to claim, I predicted it. No, y'all didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
So many psychics. Well, I would have gone out there in public like you did. But what if I would have been wrong? Yeah.
Right.
That's how we know you're not real.
So what if you're wrong? Hey, keep trying, man. You know me, shit. Jordan took many shots before he became, where he got that touch. I'm pretty sure Stephen Curry too, and that boy don't never miss, but he will miss sometimes. And that's key that you say there, that when somebody has a track record of telling you something that's on point, a lot of people want to fight that cognitive dissonance. No, the world goes around, the sun comes around us. Copernicus, and he got put to death over it, and those of us, it seems like, some of us those other people trying to bore us to death. I don't know about put us to death. Let me see. Somebody just jumped in the studio. It's Mr. Turner there. Mr. Turner himself. There he is. Where's he at?
What's up?
How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother.
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really, like I told Cass, man, I'm hyped about, what these damn pyramids could be, because, like I was talking to Elton, and, I was talking about visions and things that I'd have been over in my head for years of what they could be. And for one of you guys to tell me that, hey, I'm right, or I'm on the right path, that's going to be good enough for me. But while you're here, brother, there's Matthew Turner, you want to introduce, your show, hey, and everything else. But tell me what, before we go off into that, bro, I want to know what's your concept, because even Cassidy said that you probably could be one of the best people to ask about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I am not an Egyptologist by any means.
Mhm.
However, I like Cass knows, a lot of people know, I've been running the broadcast for about, I want to say going around 15, somewhere between 15, 17 years. So I've had the opportunity to speak to quite a few individuals.
Right.
So like I was trying to explain to you, or in amongst that text, that what we're being shown is what they want you to know about. Okay.
Right.
There's things under that plateau that will literally blow the minds of any human being. Okay. Now
Even
here's the
Gotcha.
good thing. Benny, Cass, even if you guys are together, okay, there's a fellow right now that I would love. Benny, you run who runs the broadcast here?
that's Benny.
Well,
Benny?
yeah, I'm taking in, but I have help. I've got the man, the myth, the legend. He's always watching, and in the studio, Eldon McInville is
Okay.
is also with us. Like you said, he's I'm part of the show that's coming up, The Truth and Lies, and with this one being one of mine. But if the guys that you're talking about is on my friends list, or say who it is, I'm pretty sure we can find him and send out a link to him.
Well, shout out to Eldon. I've known about Eldon for quite some time, and I know a lot of his team from throughout the years. But who I'm speaking
On your
about?
show a few weeks ago.
Huh?
Red was just on your show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Red. I've known Red and Tim for for a while. But the fellow I'm talking about, this is the good thing. Collectively speaking, okay, I'm talking, like Cass said, burdens, fights, ego, all of that shit aside. Okay.
Yeah.
We need at the moment to collectively put our fucking brains together.
Yes.
Okay? But not worry about what's being exposed, because this is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Okay. There are things that I say it all the time. You guys give me the wood and I'll build the platform. Give me the rope and I'll probably fucking tie the knot. I have hated that man all of my life. And
Yeah.
the reason why is because I'm gonna speak for everybody here. We all know we've been lied to.
Boy, tired of it.
Okay.
I'm tired
Bingo.
of it.
We're tired of it. And now we are coming to the end of our rev, as we call it, a cycle. Okay, where these things are going to be to the forefront. This is just the tip of the penis. Okay, this is just the tip. Just the tip. I mean,
Get it in, man. Get it in. Okay.
But like every girl, you got to go slow, because I'm telling you, humanity, they will lose their shit if they truly realize how much we've been lied to.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally with you there, because just thinking about giant bones and the Smithsonian Institute having about the whole family of damn giant bones that they never put out, and a lot of the information. Now, you were just talking about there's so many other things under that Giza plateau, and my theories for a long time, even when I started, thinking about archaeologists and Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's like some of these things come out at certain times, like we wasn't ready, and then when we finally get to this certain level of evolution where we're at now, in the age of enlightenment, that now we're finding some of these things that we're ready for. But, God's not going to give you something you're not ready for. You got to go to JV before you can get to varsity. And I think we're stepping into that varsity realm,
Well, there's a group of, I don't know what we even want to call them, but they show up around every 300 years and they try to guide humans into the next step. And they show up, humanity's not ready, they disappear again. In archaeology, they call it stair-step evolution.
Right.
Hi, Sarah. I was just talking to her. I was going to call her. I literally was just about to call her
That's
Okay,
what-
so let me share a little bit of what I know about where we're at. Okay.
Mhm.
And yes, if Eldon gets in touch with me, I can guarantee you we put it this way, we as a humanity, okay, and I'm gonna speak for everybody here. We have got a team of people. We have a team of pure heart people on that plateau.
Okay.
I'm talking between anywhere, and here's the kicker. And there's literally photographic evidence, there's video evidence, there's audio evidence of everything that was once there that is now no longer there. Now, these are things that these people. Now, here's the thing: this is antiquity that they could see. Okay, Cassidy knows exactly what I mean by the vibrational frequency. If you don't fucking match to the vibrational frequency, number one, it'll kill you. Okay, number two, you ain't even gonna see it.
Right.
So you remember, okay, Hawass and his fucking minions. Number one, they can't see it. They've literally walked through it. I will put in touch with Eldon or whoever, by a fellow by the name of Richard Gabriel. Okay. I will tell you right now, that is a pen name. You'll never know his real name. However, that is one of the team members that have been there and spent 30. I may have been studying the pyramids for 30 years, but I've never been under the dirt. This
Right.
man has photographic fucking evidence under the plateau, under the dirt, under the pyramid, under NC2, under NC1, under the plateau itself, as well as the corridor leading to Cairo.
Didn't he show a lot of that stuff on Joe Rogan?
He's never been on Joe. Dude, he's Richard is very, very, very selective as to who he talks with. But I'm telling you, you'll probably be in his good graces after this. And I'm telling you, for real, he will. Now is the time to share it, because everybody's going, oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, is it going to kill us? No, it's not going to kill you. And I want to point something out to you, Benny. Okay.
Yes, sir.
For real, I love your participation in the Matrix. I love it. I truly do. Think about what I'm telling you. You're not being enlightened at the moment. You're not being enlightened. Everybody listening, you're not being enlightened. You are remembering.
Yes.
You're remembering. You're waking up to a remembrance. That is the key. That is what
you
right, Cass. This is what the Internet of Things would love to get you involved in. Is this, oh, love and light, Shambhala coming, oh, la 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 la, love and light type shit. When, oh, well, we're going to help you evolve.
Yeah.
We're going to help you evolve. It is to collect. Here's the thing: these people, and this is why I'm not liked in the esoteric community. I will straight up bust your balls saying you ain't going to enlighten me on anything. We are collectively waking up to remembering.
Yes.
That is what we are. So anybody trying to sell you a little fucking little square block of chrome or copper to protect you, bro, all of these trinkets, all of these pendants, trinkets, whatever. Okay, that technology is like that is for you to remember that you are the master architect of whatever the fuck you think that you aren't. You are, and more than.
I suspect, and I don't have any evidence, but I suspect.
Sorry about my mouth. I'm getting passionate.
It's okay.
No, I feel you, man. That's why I've been the same way. Go ahead, Cass. Yeah.
I suspect it's a lot like electricity. You know, if you stick your finger in a light socket, you're going to take 10,000 volts. It doesn't matter what you believe about that 10,000 volts. You're going to take 10,000 volts. But that being said, there are people out there who are immune to electricity, like Stanley's Superhumans covered a couple of these guys, you know, and what they say about how they gained that ability is closer in line with what Matt says. Understand, you all know how arrogant I am. Understand how much it burns my asshole to admit that shit.
If you don't mind me, I've got some questions here that I would love to run by you. all everybody, to be honest with you, that I did not get to touch on Monday. Okay.
Please.
All right. If what we're talking about, right, is we know it's real. We know it's real. But what happens? What's going to happen when all of humanity, okay, truly learns their own potential nature?
Mm.
What's
Wow.
going to happen? Because
So-
this is just a tip.
So are you talking about like literally all of humanity, or enough of humanity to force a consciousness?
I'm saying, like, you, Cash, the majority of everybody here, as well as probably listening to the broadcast, already is anchored to knowing what's going on, aware of, like, their close knit piss circle of friends and who they can trust. So whenever our neighbors lose their shit, they're going to come to you. They're going to come to you and say, "Oh my God, you were the tinfoil hat wearing guy, and well, you're the guy that talks to ghosts, and well, what the fuck's going on with reality?" Because now everything I once knew was a lie.
Mm.
So
Oh
whenever
boy.
that same point, right, when all of humanity focuses itself on any given thing, that thing will come true.
Collective consciousness.
What was that?
I said collective consciousness. I'm just interjecting on what you said.
Collectively,
Collective consciousness. Yes.
Right, and that's what this
Vibrations.
and the media
Mhm.
war is all about right now. The higher ups, the elites, they know what's up now. They have known what's up since Eisenhower, I think.
all of this, every bit of that.
Yeah. The alchemically thing bugs me, but that's just because I'm being a super stickler. Alchemy. That's not what that means.
Right.
But notice I'm making the Muppet face.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, please don't. Eldon will bring that thing up again. That bucket face guy, man, that stuff was cracking me up. It's another story.
So they all know what's up. Basically, whoever controls the biggest percentage of the human consciousness wins in their mind. That's not the way it's going to shake out, but that's what they think. They've been trying to do this since the Industrial Revolution.
Sure.
My answer to that, I'm sorry if he wasn't done, Cass, but I think about the Orson Welles thing. And the war of there's that face. God dang it, you Eldon. Don't do me, man. Don't do me.
That was good.
You got to come on the show sometime during the show, brother, if you're going to do that to me. But
Dude,
the Orson Welles thing and the War of the Worlds and how it caused mass just hysteria. And I had asked Bradley the other day, in our show, in The Truth and Lies, I asked him to give me a percentage of some of the things that are out there, that some of these people that are fakes into what they do. Is it 50% mental illness, and give me a percentage between 1 and 99, because we leave the 1%ers out of there. And is some of them just been bought into a lie so long it's become the lie? Or is it just that some of them are controlled by some of these beings, guys, to say. And that question that you just asked just kind of made me think about that, Matthew, that, like you said, that as a whole, to answer your question, the collective conscious, I think hysteria would happen, because the same thing that they're trying to push on us slowly, with the aliens being a part of the civilization. And a lot of people don't want to accept the Anunnaki, and we got Sumerian tablets that talk about that.
Right.
So
they don't teach it though, Benny.
Yeah, and they were Anunnaki too. You know what I'm saying? They, some of these, well, not saying that they were Anunnaki, but that they knew of. And that civilization is one of the greatest that's ever been here for our time of man, for this mankind that we're in now. Because you were talking about cycles earlier, Matthew, and you also, Cassidy. And I always tell people that there's an E cycle, that they say that every 5,000 years, all great civilizations, they always come to an end at some point. Now, could this pyramid thing at the bottom be just like the bottom of a Big Ben clock? Tick, tock, tick, tock. And like I was talking to Cassidy about the gravitational pulls and the gravitational displacement, is that what's going on? or you know, is it something that's more on a spiritual level where it's a stargate? You know what I mean? You know, these are, I got too much in my mind, man. I'm glad y'all here. Help me. Really, you know, but to answer your question, this is where my mind goes, man, because that question is very relevant. Because what's going to happen when people start waking up to what this real truth is? You know, what we really are, what these vibrations can do, what these solar flares can do, what we need to do, like you said, is come together and figure it out. That's what I want them to do. You know, okay, I just had to get that out.
So I think by the time we hit 100% cognizance, we'll be past the hysteria point. But I think the hysteria point is going to happen when we get around, 35%, I think. Yes, the stargates are within each human. The trick is getting humans to remember how to use that. A lot of you have heard have heard all about the Merkaba and what the Merkaba is capable of. The problem is that every tradition has their own opinion about what the Merkaba is. None of them actually look at the physics, which is what my people are trying to teach you. For example, I have never seen a human tradition that accounts for all three Merkaba. They'll account for this one, the heart or the gut, or the gut and the mind, or the mind and the heart, or the gut and the heart, but never all three. Everyone needs to understand this. All of the different traditions have a piece of the puzzle. When you put it all together, it says there are three Merkaba within your body. And if you can get all three to operate, that's when you're getting transmutation of reality. So is that 1 hour and 6 minutes?
Can I add to that?
Please.
Please.
Everybody that's watching that is like diluted, and I mean diluted, meaning don't not know what they're getting into whenever they get into esotericism or the pyramidal, the what's going on, right? What Cassidy just said, that I'm going to turn it biblical for a second, okay? Because everybody likes to say, "Oh, well, my Bible, okay, good. Stand on that, right? Let's go back to what Christ says in the book of Thomas, because what Cassidy just said was very relevant to what is going on right now. And I got to say this is out of the book of Thomas. Anybody can look this up. Christ says, when the two become one, what will you do? Now think about that. When the two become one, and you see, what will you do? So when you have the ability to see with your spiritual eye and your understanding with your body and your vehicle, this is just Cassidy's never really heard. I don't think you've even really heard me talk like this, because I try to avoid the doodlebot stuff. Okay, I'm serious. I'm just, but however, I understand it. I know it. I feel it. I believe it. Remember, we are a spirit in a vehicle, not a vehicle with a spirit, right? So again, what Christ is trying to say, esoterically, spiritually, originally, whatever, when the two become one and you use your third eye singularly, you will see. Yes. And also taking a step further, it says when the body becomes full of light, right? If thy eye be single, what happens? The body is full of light. So anybody that closes their eyes at night, it could be the dark. It could literally at this point, Cass, you could probably vouch for this. It could be pitch black. I'm talking black as pitch, night, no light at all. You under the covers. The covers. By the time I'm 2025, you can cover yourself up and even close your eyeballs. So not only are you in the pitch black, you're under the covers, plus you got your eyes closed, your ass can still see the outline of your hand. Yes. How's that fucking possible?
There are actually quite a few viewpoints on that, both scientific and spiritual. I don't know.
Just saying.
There we go into quantum now, because that the three hole experiment, what they shot the light through, when it went through all of them at the same time. And me and Cassidy, he was he was talking about, just the other day, we was talking about dimensions. And a lot of people believe, I do believe that these other dimensions, if you're going forward, you could have been going back, you could have been going right, you could have been going left, you could have been going up, you was actually. And that's where, deja vu happens when you cross those lines. It's just a theory of mine. But now, with that being said, and something that Eldon, he just kind of was messing with my head the other day. And he was saying that the future being the past being the future. But right now, we're writing each of them at the same time.
Yes.
And, when you got something as important, like we're talking about these pyramids, what's under them, what's under the Giza Plateau, this civilization's only been here for so long. And we're behind compared to the Egyptians, compared to the Atlanteans, compared to the Sumerians, and all of these other ones. Even the Babylonians tried to make a stairway to heaven, and that's why they're breaking apart. Okay, get me with symbolically. I'm not saying, I tell everybody all the time, look, I'm kicking the gip around to people. And just the same way as when I put the post up the other day when I heard about the pillars, and it made me think biblically about when it says God put the earth on the pillars. The pillars of the world, and that's
you
what made me
that
think
Monday, right? That's what you were talking about to me on Monday, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I put this post out there that we're talking about something bigger than with Burj Khalifa up underground going down.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to Cass, my old retarded mind, I started thinking about a clock and those things, the magnetic pull of them. And they're in sand. So what happens if that thing just flipped up and then the bottom part is up above and the top part is down? Is the pyramid an anchor? Guys, help me out. I think too much. I don't know. I don't know. I got this.
The focusing stone, but there's a whole episode there.
I made a post, Benny. I made a post, Cass, just like 2 days ago, right? And it was quite funny, but yet not funny. Funny, but not funny. Because I'm a critical thinker. I love to make people think. Even if I've got to trigger you to make you think, I'm going to trigger you. Cass, am I right?
Yep.
You know this.
Sometimes got to get shaken up, folks.
I mean, I want you to critically think. To get them to critically think, you've sometimes got to piss them off or like trigger somebody. Okay. So here's the thing. I made a post that says it was just a picture of the pyramids, right? And it says, I wonder if they could fly.
Man.
Now I've seen comments that said, well, I've literally deleted some pretty stupid comments, but there, one of them stood out, and it's like something about there's no way for them to fly, or I'm sorry, they can't fly because nothing's holding them together.
Oh.
I tossed that right back at that person, not getting any names. I'm like, so what's holding you together?
They should be able
don't just like skin either, man. We don't want to hear that skin. The skin, it could be loosely come apart either. Good question, man. You're on some good shit here, man.
Benny,
yes.
Thoth told you in the Emerald Tablets, what are those pyramids made of? What are they made of? Do you remember? They are living stone. That is consciousness. They are living stone. So again, let me ask you, can they fly?
Yep. Can they move? Yep. Because everything of matter vibrates and everything, and you were talking about frequencies, and the vibrations play a key part in that. The frequencies that cause everything to move. Back to string theory, that everything in matter vibrates. So everything that vibrates, if it's matter, then it has its own conscious, same way as water holds consciousness to it. But I'm not saying that, I don't know, it might have hit a button, that, they different type of theories. His phone might have went dead. He's coming back in. But, if it could fly, that's one I don't know why I didn't think of that one, because, thinking of a rocket ship shape and the tip of a rocket ship and those pillars being able to, catch anti-gravity and smooth roll up out of there and or magnetically pulled to Mars, where there's other pyramids. You know,
Oh, Chris can't see, but I'm throwing you a love sign, Christopher. I love you, bro. I really do.
How my C Neo right there, man. That's the young mind future. And I used to tell Christopher that a lot because Chris is a writer, and I tell Chris that, man, you and the path that you're on now is so excellent that when you do crack the codes, if you become a code cracker and let us know what these things are. And I said I love Cass's mind, that the understanding of what is it, or even whether people think of it as theory or whatever he believes, or what Matthew Turner believes. These things make a difference because, like you said, when we come together and toss all the other bullshit, excuse my language out there, Minister Kid does talk, does cuss a little bit, but like I said, we toss that aside and kind of get to the meat and bones of what can these things do. I'm ready for the next question that you got over there, bro. Because
All right.
this is intriguing to me because, huh?
I don't know how long
Because
you bro.
I like that you said that, huh?
How long is your broadcast?
As long as I want it.
Excellent. I like excellent. Okay.
Yeah, I went 3 or 4 hours with Bradley and the crew before, So hey, I'm to get to some answers.
I personally have got, again, Monday I ran over some questions that I posed for Samantha that I did not get a chance to go over. But so I again pick a topic because they're all astronomical topics. I've been studying that plateau for 30 years, and I've got a team of guys. I literally have got we have got a team up here. Where's Cassidae at? I feel bad, but I want you to know that we've got a team of pure hearts that will absolutely keep their lips tight, their eyes wide open, and their ears open as well, and let you know what's going on.
Hell yes. I appreciate it. And I'll probably do another one and try to get you dragged back on here again, bro. So, because it needs to be discussed. But, we'll take some comments from you guys out there too. I appreciate all the comments coming in, and Matt's got some great questions that's, that's kind of getting my brain going now. That one about it could fly, man. I was anchored in that sand, in my theory and hypothesis, and trying to figure out, okay, the frequencies and all that. I was with that because we know that the SAR itself is based off of, that radar type technology, but, to activate it and, who has the control, who got the remote control, that's what, I'm trying, me and myself that I'm thinking about also, but, I don't know where you're at. I talk a lot, Matt, if you didn't know.
I want to share something with you about holography. Okay. Holography, holograms, hologram reality.
Blue beam.
What if, I'm just saying, if you look up holography technology, that pyramid absolutely, I'm talking about the Great Pyramid, okay, the one that's got celestial shafts. Okay, we know of the celestial shafts. However, that pyramid, the Great Pyramid, okay, mirrors technology that has the ability to produce a hologram. Did you know that?
I can believe it. I can believe it because the way it's made is not 4 sides. It's actually 8 sides to it that because the way they go in. And I tell people all the time, I was talking earlier about that, how that light itself, how it can be manipulated, and how through that manipulation that a hologram can happen, the shadow parts of things, bringing you in now, Cass. And, hey, buddy, but, the tricks of light and what you just said, in other words, God damn it, Matthew, you got me thinking too hard here, man. I think I blew an eardrum.
You got weed? You got some weed? Smoke weed every day. You know what I'm saying, dude? Some of the things that we can talk about is literally mind bending, and Cass is another one. I mean, that has got the know-how, the wording, the knowledge to drop it on humanity when they're ready for it. A lot of these people, bro, you will lose them. They literally they will become men that stare at goats. And I'm not lying.
So true. So true. It's true. It's so definitely true because I tell people all the time, look, you might can get upset with Cass that I'm following. I listen, because when you learn about all these different things, you can go so, but then sometimes he's going over my head. Okay, Cass, please tell me what this damn word is, or so make sure your mic is on there, bro. But yeah, I mean, but it's true that when you think about that though, man, that's why I tell people that I experiment. Like what you was just saying, how in the Emerald Tablets it talks about when you was talking about in the Bible, when the two become one. And then you put those sayings, because we know the Bible wasn't just originally wrote in translation and everything else. That it's been from different stories come together. And then you bring these stories and find the correlation of thought said this in biblical. They was trying to tell us something, like the Da Vinci Code, There was signs laid down to tell us what to do with these things. Maybe not even what they are, because even like what Cass was saying earlier, maybe we're not ready to know what they are, but just know what they can do,
Right. Well, ready or not, something needs to be done, or there won't be a society around to learn.
Huh?
The solar axiom.
Cassidy
Coming. What?
I can hear him.
You can hear him. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm watching his. Hang on. I'm watching his lips, and I'm trying to pull him out of there. Okay, one more time.
I was just saying, whether people want to, whether ready or not, if this doesn't get taken care of, there won't be a society left to ponder these things. The solar axiom is coming, whether people want to or not.
Right.
Again, we just missed a world-ending amount of coronal mass by 11 hours, and that you have no idea what a near miss that is in astrological terms. The machines under the pyramid, they have to be reactivated and powered, or we are screwed.
Question, Cassidy, with that, is that what those things under there are doing? Are they causing these coronal mass ejections from there, or are they protection from them with our magnetosphere?
The coronal mass ejections are a natural phenomenon. Every star does that. You think of it like a heartbeat.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that the machines underneath Giza, and it's not just Giza. Something that Matt said earlier in the show is very true. It's not just Giza. It's just Giza is the best option. What they do when they all work together is essentially empower the electromagnetic sphere to be able to stabilize enough to deflect this shit. The electromagnetic sphere is enough to deflect coronal mass. It's been observed. This is true. This is done. This is not a question anymore. The problem is that with what's happening with the North and South poles, the electromagnetic sphere is not functioning properly.
Polarities. The polarities getting fucked up.
Yeah. Point of fact, if you anybody who wants to, you can take the opportunity and look into the satellites. You can see for yourself the electromagnetic sphere is acting like a parachute right now. It's all behind the planet. We have no protection on the sunward side. If that is not corrected, our modern society is screwed. Okay? It's not going to be the end of humanity, but it will be the end of this society. Everything that works on electricity that's not properly shielded is going to fry. It's called a Carrington event.
Carrington event.
Right.
Has that ever happened on Earth before? I mean, the only time I remember in the Bible, it says when they was marching around Jericho and that God made the sun stay in the sky for 24 hours, tire down the other warriors. I mean, just looking at the symbology of that and just imagining that every day with sunlight and kind of, tied it in. What Matthew was talking about is the tricks with light, and that how these pyramids are able to, because of the shape of them, do some holographic type things. I'm where I'm getting at with this is like the Northern Lights. So if this thing, okay, let's just say this. I'm gonna throw this out there like this was something. Just eat it up with, if you will. Say that coronal injection and those solars get through, and it activates the pyramid to come to life, and all of a sudden this thing turns into pure energy because of the way it's structured and made and everything. And it all joins together with the Tesseract and, with the other pyramids on the planet. And all of a sudden, Earth moves the same way the moon was put into position. Is shit like that happening, or are you saying that we're coming up on that E cycle in my type of brain and thinking is what I'm saying? That is it time and it can be changed, or we're pushing ourselves to where it's time for the destruction of man if we don't take care of it? I don't know how you can pose that question. Love it for me, bro.
This is an astrophysical event. This is an astronomical thing. One of the reasons why 150 years ago, when the first Carrington event was recorded, one of the reasons why it wasn't so bad is because this solar system wasn't in the same band of radiation that we're passing into now. That involves a lot. That is an incredible point. A lot of what the stuff does, the pyramids and Baghdad batteries, a lot of what these things do is convert energy and radiation from one type to another. Okay, so for the first time in human history since the Younger Dryas event, what you guys are seeing is what it's starting to look like when the pyramid is starting to power up. You see? So yeah.
I'd love to see it in my lifetime, where like that video that shows that beam of light shooting all the way up to Orion, and then seeing that our progenitors come down and talk to us. Hey, I believe I'm ready for it. We talk a little bit about what are people going to do when they finally the aliens start pulling up at Quick Trip like with everybody else and getting them a hot dog. Well, are we going to be ready for that? It kind of ties to that.
The vision. This part is the vision, and this part isn't education. This is the vision. But the vision says that 9 people go into the pyramid, 1 for each pylon. And keep in mind, these pylons are repeated under each of the pyramids, and again all around the world. So it sounds right to me, 1 for each pylon. But basically, this can't be the actions of one person. This cannot be under the auspices or for the benefit of a single dude. Like, I don't care if he is Indiana Jones. Okay, I don't care if he's Indiana, Bruce Lee, Han Solo. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is not for one person. This is not for one tribe. This is everyone. So the plan is this, and for those of you who know your shit, this is remember this. It's been the plan the whole time. First things first is we have to present ourselves to the Sphinx. That is step 1. Okay. Now that involves rituals and whatnot. You can do that closer to the date, assuming that we can get this going. But the Sphinx is the gatekeeper to the king's chamber. If the Sphinx doesn't find you worthy, you will not enter the king's chamber. I mean, you could walk into it physically. You could even lay down on the sarcophagus, but you're not going to enter the mental realm. Okay. So
hey, Cass.
What?
the fella that I want to introduce to the broadcaster host, whenever Richard laid down into the king's chamber sarcophagus, his partner, his teammate, was guarding the door, but yet literally said that he went out of body and was chanting and speaking in tongues.
Interesting.
And they heard him outside of that pyramid. The guards literally came in and said, "What are you doing?" Oh yeah, there's a special kind of people that there's a special kind of technology that will talk to those special kind of people.
I've heard that the chamber lights up when the sarcophagus is talking to whoever's in. I heard the chamber lights up. Did you know if that's true? Because that would be so badass. Like, I would geek out a little bit.
I'm not aware of that one. Benny, if I give you a picture, if I send you a picture, can you send it to Eldon? I'm not friends with Eldon on Facebook, so I can't send it to him directly, but I will send you a picture. Okay. And I'm trying to make this very, very known that this image, this picture, I'll just say of a queen. Okay. I'll disclose who this queen is here in a little bit, but I want you to first see it. This queen is now missing, okay? Because here's the problem that we've got. All right, I'll go ahead and say his name. Okay, Hawass and his team followed the Pure Heart excavators and amateur Egyptologists. They are followed, okay? As well as I'll even share a story where they're like, once they find this content, okay, the authorities will literally blow the corridor, seal them in it, and then take the antiquity. This is true. This is proven. This is absolutely. I mean, I'm talking photographic, videography evidence. They are in so much fucking trouble, bro. They have no idea the shit that's coming out, and they're in trouble, Cassidy.
I believe it. Something similar has been discussed with us before. It's like, well, aren't you worried that something like that's going to happen? And the reason why I'm not is because once, like, you can't take the antiquity out. You know, what are you going to do? Put the Burj Khalifa in your back pocket? You know,
right?
So I'm not worried about that. However, anyone who is thinking to try to do this and like, oh, hey, Egyptian, I heard this crazy guy, but I'm the real guy, because we have these freaking clingers all the time. If you're going to do that and you go to the Egyptian authorities and you think you're going to grave rob,
there you go, Benny.
End of you.
Right. Did you send it straight to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is absolutely, she is real. She is absolutely real.
No, I want to see.
Oh, you'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it over to you now, Cap.
I got you, Eldon. As soon as we're done here, actually, I could do it. I'd probably do it now. But yes, sir, she's real. And there's a story. I'm not going to share the story because I don't have the authority to share it, but I will put you in touch with the Egyptologist that has the story, that knows what's going on and can actually tell you that yes, Dr. Zahi Hawass has got blood on his hands.
Why do you say so? At least tell me why you say so, bro. Tell me something.
Because there was property purchased in Egypt by a United Statesman, okay? And what was pulled out of the ground, okay, was whisked away in an ambulance that should have been taking those in which were blown to bits in that corridor. And that little girl right there that you're looking at was whisked away in the ambulance. So no one knows nothing about her. But however, there she is. She is.
What are we looking at?
That is a sarcophagus. Okay. That is what you'd call, like, Tut's tomb is like the exterior of her.
Right.
Her eyes are made of lapis. You're looking at gold. You're looking at what is known as mother of pearl. So she was a very special lady, and what made her really unique is there is a representation of Ishtar. This lady right here has got three toes.
That's actually very important. That links to the
that's very significant.
I'll bet you. And just out of curiosity, how much information on whether or not she has a thumb is out there? Because she should not have a thumb.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know that one.
No thumb.
She only has got 3 toes per foot. And like I said, we all know, and you're going to find out that the teams that are down there that are really, really trying to relinquish what's preservable, there's photographic evidence of all of the antiquities that all of these people have sold to the black market. It's a big club and we're not in it.
Yeah, that's why I say if anybody wants to think they're going to go there and do some like for-profit Egyptology, think again. They will do bad things to you.
Oh yeah, yes, for sure.
Wow. I mean that picture. I mean that itself sent chills to me, man. Like I said, You know, my little gift sometimes, and that's why I'll be telling people, I'll be trying to figure out, do people have visions like I do? If you don't know, Matthew, that, you know, I tell people I don't talk about the mystic part of, you know, Minister Kid. And people just think I just know Anunnaki. No, I was a preacher and then studying shamanism and trying to be peace. And because Enoch is my hero. Now, with that being said, that sometimes I get connected to things and visions in my head come. And I've done reading on people in the past. It's made them cry. You know, I'm not, you know, bragging that, you know, I brought back some things in their lives, and some people jump through us, you know, like the same way that we talk about, you know, us being conduits. Like I said, I don't say that I can channel, you know, thought and all that. I don't do that. But now if he works through me, because I prayed to God, you know, when I was on my deathbed at one time, and I was in the hospital in Houston, this is about 2-3 years ago, and the nurse was breaking my finger, putting the thing on, and I asked God to send thought knowledge to the doctors and have Metatron work through the computers with this frequency to help save my life. And lo and behold, this is a true story. I woke up and Bradley Powers, Cassidy Lightwing, Jim Andre is on the phone calling me. My phone was dead as hell when I went in there, and it died when I was sitting there, and they was plugging this stuff up to me. So, you know, some of these things like that is what associates to the reason why I wonder about these things with the pyramid, because I've seen great things happen in my life. That's like I was telling Eldon, it's just some things that I just can't explain. And there's things on this planet we just can't explain. And this is one of these things. Go ahead, sir.
What bothers me is like that time and other times, like that was the time everybody told you that I must have been trying to kill you with my magic.
Exactly, that same thing that you put a curse on me to make my testicles blow up and all that other shit. Because if you don't know, I had an upper and I had a testicular hernia. And everybody tried to blame, you know, they you know, the esoteric world, you know, they always hating on Cass. They said Cass put a spell on you, and they was trying to show me some voice clips, and Cass didn't say it. I don't even sound like Cass. That, you know, Cass put a spell on me and tried to kill me. But he was right there for healing when I came from out of death. So I'm like, if he did something, he probably went in there and helped my balls out. Excuse my language there, everybody. But it was testicular. It was a testicular hernia.
I'm so glad I had a coffee by now.
Is he a doctor? Shit, I don't know. But hey, he did something. But he didn't have nothing to do with it. But everybody blamed Cass. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no.
When Opal died, it was the same thing. Oh, Cass did something. It's like, guys, come on. Really?
Here's the thing, I guess. When it comes to that, and I'm not gonna speak for Richard or any of the other guys that we've got on the plateau, but I will share this with you. If we think that it's the pyramid that's the healing aspect of that plateau, that's not the case.
No,
it's you.
Okay.
It's you. It takes you to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, you remember me pointing out to you that I've got, don't get me wrong. I run around. I too have got pendants. I've got pendants and I've got things. I've got shit, right? But these things are remembrances. They're tools. That's it. Okay. That is all they are. A Ouija board is a tool. A pendulum is a tool. Tarot cards are a tool if you need to utilize them. Okay? You are built by the gods. You are built by the gods. Okay? The only thing that separates you from them is a split in your telomere. That is it. Now, that right there's a perfect picture. Stop, Eldon. Keep it there for a second.
I did that.
What's that?
I said, go ahead. I did that. It's one of the pictures.
In this image, we've depicted this image multiple times. What to you stands out in this image? Look really close.
People, what they don't realize is what's behind Jesus, the Son's head, and what's behind God's head is that pyramid.
Correct. Right.
Well, there are other
Mm-hmm.
aspects as well. Like if you look on Jesus's, like you pulled out the classic art, man. This is my house.
Yeah. Thank
blood,
you.
The blood coming out of Christ's fucking chest wound there is being pulled towards Earth. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not bleeding out like it should. It's being pulled towards the planet in the center.
Now, also keep in mind what do you think? What is in their hands? What is in Christ's hand, and what is in the architect's hand? What is that?
Well, I know a lot of people would say those are
A what?
Antennas or wands.
Pen.
A lot of people would say.
Right.
That's not
Wand,
a pen. That is not a
Yep,
pen.
you know.
That is a radio. That is a radio antenna.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're tuning the frequency.
Look at real close because they've got tips on the ends of them. Okay, and they are submerged into the earth. Right. There's a sun between the two of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is a radio frequency. So what you're giving off, the both of them are receiving. Okay. Now do you see it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I never pay attention to it that way because, I love Damon T. Berry, and he talks about that pyramid, and, this was on the one with the Stargate right here. But now that I look at that, yeah, they're tuning the antennas.
That's correct. They're tuning the antenna. They're raising the frequency of the planet, or they're tuning into the frequency. Christ, if you notice, has literally got what's called it is the circumference period. It's northeast, south, and west. Okay. If anybody studies drawn below Melchizedek, you've got a chakra in your above your head that will not even activate unless your third eye is active. Okay. So what you're looking at behind Christ's head is a fully activated being. Okay. The initiation to that, what's called a second born or twice born ritual, happens in the sarcophagus of the king's chamber.
Right.
Okay.
That's now talking about earlier.
Right. Again, this is there are pharaohs that have literally went out of their mind and lost their shit and killed themselves, from what I understand, when trying to do the twice born ritual. This is what made Christ really, really powerful. Okay.
That's what made Napoleon powerful. Like he survived.
That's probably. But the twice born ritual literally is being twice born. It is sacrifice. I mean, I can pull up the twice born ritual for you and let you read it, Benny, Eldon, whoever wants to read it. But it is from out of the Nag Hammadi, I do believe. It's published. It is an occultistic teaching. The majority of the Christian community will never know about. So to me, I was raised Southern Pentecostal. To me, twice born means I need to give my sins to Christ and live. That's being born again. When in the esoteric occult teaching, it is literally going into the subs, because the pyramid is, you got to remember, 3 stages. Okay. The feminine aspect of divinity, meaning the separation by submerging yourself. Okay. Then you've got the queen's chamber. Okay. The activation of femininity. Okay. Separating the masculine from the subvert or the subdued third density. And then you've got the elevated Christ's chamber, or what's known as the bridal chamber, the merging of the 3. It's deep, dude.
Yeah. It is said that people will go crazy, all that stuff. It's also said that people have come out of there like mind fried, like brain fried.
Oh, hell yes.
Stories, this is not something that people should take lightly. Like, I'll go visit the king's chamber before I die. I'll put it on my bucket list. That's not. Yeah. What's
are those pyramids okay, just an idea jumped in my head. So the same way we was looking at that picture with them tuning the antennas, are the pyramids the antennas?
You're the antenna.
Okay.
You are both a
So
transmitter and a receiver.
that's true. That's true. And we have more receiving things on our body than the transmitter. The transmitter is our voice box, and the ability to make sound. As a transmit as to output, but the input, the ears, the nose, the sense of smell, the taste, and everything. But the transmission, like I believe that you're talking about, is the thought process, the frequencies given off by positive and negative thoughts, and tuning in that way. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, of course. That and all,
Yeah,
all of the above. That and more, bro.
Yeah,
yeah,
like we said earlier, there are many functions to those machines. It's just like if you saw a skyscraper of that size, it wouldn't be just like all the underwear department at J.C. Penney's. You know what I mean? That building fulfills a great many. You know,
damn.
what we
Hey,
got
I
to
don't
figure
feel
out.
those
bad for you.
JCPenney catalogs when I was little, man. That was a Playboy magazine to me. Looking
Oh,
at them in the hey, Macy's. Hey, look, I couldn't wait till the books. Okay, never mind. I was a bad boy before I became a minister,
I
but
think
yeah, real shit. But but that's even the functions on the pyramid that's above ground now. So many people say, okay, it's a reactor. If water enters in this or if light goes through it, it's a stargate. It's this. What is you guys' concept of what the top part made for humans was or is?
Did you see what he just said? This
What he
is this
say?
is this is right here goes right back to that image that you put up there.
With
Earth's
Christopher People.
the Earth star chakra is above the crown.
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
picture right there shows you, okay, just how special Christ truly was. He was indeed
Hmm.
he was special, very much so. Okay, but let's also not forget so was Enoch.
Yes, he was.
Okay,
Yeah.
so was Hermes Trismegistus, which is probably a reincarnation of Enoch. I mean, the list can
Right.
go on and on and on and on and on.
3 times great. Trish McGist is what Sarah's saying. You guys, what?
Augustus was just a guy. Quite thanks to Drew below Melchizedek, he's been glorified. But Hermes was a guy. Hermes Trismegistus was just a guy. He wasn't Thoth reborn or any of that other nonsense, any more than Archimedes was.
No.
Thank you
I
guys.
don't know about Archimedes, but I did hear that's where that name derived from is 3 times great, Trismegistus.
Yeah.
But like I said, Hermes goes back to the Greek, if I remember right. But I don't know about Hermes, but Thoth. Now that's supposed to be the deity that's the supreme knowledge and getting to that we got the Christ consciousness, but then we talk about thought and then to think about Metatron. Metatron has its own frequency, the Metatron frequency and how that he got to ascend without dying from Enoch turned into Metatron. And a lot of people don't understand is this could be, even the pyramids themselves could be a pathway to that type of existence or a workway to get to the heavens if you're a spiritual person like myself to conceive something like that. If you guys understand, my brain works too much, I think. I need to go see a parapsychologist or something. That's why I got you guys, man.
The pyramid is a machine.
I was in the middle of a very important point. Okay.
Yes.
And there's this. And all right, so basically everybody's a lot of people are following these people like Drew Bello, Melchizedek. Here's the problem. None of their shit works. I do not understand why humans are just trying the same damn thing that's been tried for 10,000 years unsuccessfully. And why? Because some fucking dude who gave himself a bullshit name needs to sell books.
That's what it's all about, though, right? Just like misguide them and, well, how much money can I get? Did we bring them in today? Yeah.
Drawing titties makes more money.
Wow. Yeah.
Think about this. Think about what you just said, because what you just said is why I've got a really hell of a hard time with all of the mainstream religious today teachers. Okay. I'm talking like Joel Osteen, and I don't even name names, okay? But I'm talking like Joyce Myers, Joel Osteen, them big ass names with huge amount of wealth.
Capital. Yes.
But that's it. That's it. They don't teach the true teaching. Teach the teaching, teacher.
That's
right.
You know. So yeah, like I said, it's been driving me crazier and crazier, and especially with the Egypt with this stuff being discovered. Where was Melchizedek trying to talk about this stuff? Everybody who wants to make a buck off of you is trying to sell you something. The ones that are actually in this for the real reasons, they're the ones saying, we don't want your money.
Right.
And there's a lot more of us out there than one would think. It's just that we're not loud,
I think Cassidy gets paid by generosity and donations. There's a big goddamn difference between someone asking you for it, like giving you, you know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, it tries to literally tell you that you are less worthy unless you pay me to become worthy enough. Are you serious? Who the fuck is going to follow that? Look in the church, because there's a multitude of sheeple.
And that's even here too. I mean, steady. I mean,
sheeple.
The whole big deal is being the ambassador to the Lyrans. Yet they wanted to charge us $2,000 just to bring Shar onto the property. That not Lyran.
Okay.
So it's just
gotcha.
Everybody's got a thing they want to do. Everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to line their pockets. I don't know
exactly. I mean, I even respect what you told me earlier when I wanted, that video that I told you about that got posted that shows this guy already down there and he's walking around these little bitty pillars with got some copper rings around it and it got some blue aliens and some blue water. I was like, we could even just discuss how this makes no sense, how they get all the way down there that damn quick. And this guy got video footage. Captain told me, let me tell you, Matt, Captain said, man, don't even put it up. Let's don't try to mislead anybody with the BS.
Give me that shit, because I'm telling you, I will call out a motherfucker. I will track it back via metadata, and I will put that homie on blast, bro.
Send it to him.
That's what
I'm telling you right now. I will tear that video apart.
Matt, you'll be able to tell.
Have you seen it?
AI.
No, I ain't
Did you
seen
see
it,
that video?
If I did see it, we'd be making a video about it, and I would be putting that guy on. I'm talking 4 million plus viewership. He wants to be known. Let's make him known. We're gonna make him famous.
Oh Lord, and I wouldn't even want to get. Yeah, you are Eldon up on this, man. Eldon really trying to pick him apart. He really is like, man, that shit's so silly. He was like, I'm not even
bullshit, Benny. That, like Cass just said, complete divinity. That's deviation.
Yeah.
That's being very fucking deviant. And the only people to do that would be backed by the system. Okay, remember that.
Girls.
Oh, don't swing on them like that.
I'm just being serious. I'm just being honest,
like
bro.
it.
Chris made a comment.
I'm here. Dap me, bro. Turn to me. Dap me.
And Chris, you're not incorrect, but this is the problem with a lot of the younger folks. You're not incorrect, but what you're not including is why it is the way it is. Like you're saying that the pyramid is one of the platonics, so that's why it's a shape. No, the pyramid is a platonic solid. That does play a part. But what you need to be looking at is what specifically the pyramids do within the platonic solids. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Why isn't it shaped like a D20? I'm sure the ancient Egyptians played D&D. It's a very popular game. It goes back millions of generations. True story, he said. No, but a lot of the platonic solids are the way they are for a reason, but the platonic solids being used is also important. Like you'll notice they didn't build Stonehenge out of pyramids.
Right.
It's all very. You guys have to understand. This is not superstition. You go back far enough. This is the actual science. For example, the priest king that's most directly associated with the credit of building the pyramids, one guy by the name of Imhotep, and yes, that Imhotep from the Mummy movies. Okay, and they took that name from history. His own writings on the situation reveal a great deal, but the main point is that when you're reading, you understand this is a science. It's a technology. Okay, these priest kings understood the platonic solids with the same degree as you would take your car to a mechanic, and they understand your engine. These are not like vague, pseudo spiritual nonsense superstitions. They understood this to the point where they could build the pyramids. You see? So this is a technology. It's not a magic. It's not a superstition. It is a technology. And even the CIA now is going, guys, we need help. We're screwed. That's the part that people keep missing. The immediate follow-up to the pyramid was the CIA completely disclosing that all this psychic stuff is very real, to the point of being military assets. Everybody missed that one.
If I give you a link to something, Benny,
Yes.
no, I want to share something with you. I seen that Eldon pointed that you're almost out of time, out of space. Are you sharing to YouTube, by the way? You are,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure I'm you on the YouTube and my profile. That's why he
All
was
right.
asking me all night if we're going to go and the recording on this. The recording started has to be stopped at 2 hours. But if we go past, we're still going to be on a live stream. That's what I just informed him that we're going to go, stay to the stream.
If it's okay with you guys, I think we should continue on another night, because this is really too important to do by half measures. Like, there's data we have to get into that we haven't even gotten to touch on yet.
What's today? Tuesday.
This is
How would you
true.
guys like to go back into this again? Say Thursday. And let's pick it up and, go look into this a little more, because some of this stuff is really, it's mind blowing. But like you said, it's relevant. It's so relevant. It needs to be known. It needs to be the facts out and get rid of all of these charlatans that's throwing up these Star Wars movies, with their concepts instead of real facts that can correlate to what the shit really is.
Right.
If could you come back again? Is Thursday a good day for you, Matt, or would you be up to? I know you got your show on a few days, but if we did it again tomorrow, look, guys, I'm ready to talk about it, man. But what would be good for you all?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest. This has all been more emotional for me than one would think. Like, I literally had no idea how badly I wanted to get debunked. You know what I mean? I've been joking about it all this time. I was like, so it's no big deal for me. Either way, I get to drop boobies or whatever. And this is terrifying for me. This is absolutely fucking terrible. Like, my gut's tight talking about this,
Well, Cassidy, listen, you need to remember that they already know that it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, dude. They already know that we have whooped the shit out of their matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
Just remember that. We did not come here just for no reason. We are the virus in their system.
I like that. Oh, I like that a lot. Hell yeah. We are the virus. Christ is the cure.
Everybody that's out there watching, I know that you guys look forward. I know that you guys want to hear this, because I want to hear this. If I have to beg these guys on Thursday or Friday, I'll let you know to get them back. And like you said, the next one is going to be the same thing. But like what you just said, Matthew, they did it, tore apart the matrix. We done busted through now. And it takes that collective consciousness for, some of us to just get it sparked and the real information out there to get that ball a rolling. It's time to roll that motherfucker and knock these pins down, man. They've been putting up pins and goddamn deflection shields on our minds for so long. Let's break through it. Hey, I'm down for it, man. I mean, if your show's not on Thursday, I'm coming looking for you, Matthew.
The both of you, shout out to your audience, because here's something else that I'm getting downloaded. I want to share with you. and this is to everybody that is a critical thinker, deep diver. If you are being censored to the point of I'm shadow banned, I'm literally talking to myself. Okay. If you were not a threat to their system, then they wouldn't be trying to clamp down on you. Just remember that. Okay.
Literally every one of us is a cog that they need to destroy. You know?
Yeah. So you must be doing something right. Keep doing it and just receiving the download, because I think it was Cass said, as the sun, going back to Benny's picture, right? You got the sun in the middle of them receivers, right? When that sun, right there, okay, down below. Yeah. Oh, what Matt said, you gain a larger target up. Oh, hell yeah, you do.
Yeah. Eldon.
Shout out, Eldon. Yes, sir. If you remove that, okay, see the sun down there? The sun, right?
Right.
Whenever it, like Cass was saying, whenever it pulses its energetic frequency, the earth is receiving that frequency. We are on that planet. Okay. They cannot stop what is coming. It does not matter. They are not in control, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Those who run this matrices really, really needs to listen, because here's the thing. We are transmitting via a digital frequency right now. You, Benny, we're talking digitally. Okay. We may be talking amongst one another like this, but it's going through their system. They're processing the synthesis, and you don't think they're listening? Oh, you're damn right they're listening. And you hear my words. They know this show is done. This cycle is gone. It's over with.
And I've said this a lot, and I don't care if you guys think I'm crazy, but those of you light workers out there, you know this is true. We are going to kill Moloch. That's it. And if we have to go through the devil to get him, we're going to do it. The people in the power, they understand they are lost. It's over. All they can do is take as many people as they can with them, but they are bleeding through their hearts.
What Cass just said, through that demiurge was a false freedom.
Demiurge. Why can I never remember that word when it would be the most appropriate? That's a damn good word. Can you explain that?
Dude, what's funny is, astrally speaking, whenever I had my out of body, I do believe that's when I learned to truly gain control of my vehicle and astral project, okay, and be aware of what's around me. I do believe after my experience of separation of my body and my OBE, I do believe that is whenever I come out of the being fearful to all kind of demonology or anything else. You are more powerful than anything that thinks that it is above you. You are.
And folks, I've said it once. If I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. Anything the visitors can do, you can do better, because you are human. You have no idea how beloved you are and how powerful you really are.
So true. I'm not even going to, try to, because even the Sumerian said that when Enki did the enhancement, that Enlil found out that we had the ability to ascend even further than them, because it's just in the genetic makeup of what they started with, because they started with Homo erectus, but we had already evolved to a certain point. And okay, Cass, I know what you're saying there, but I'm just saying the fact that we have the ability, and a lot of people don't know that. Come on with that next question, Matthew.
I got it, because it follows up to exactly, bro, what you're saying right now.
Bring it on. I'm gonna make some coffee while you're doing it. The recording's stopping too, but we're still live everywhere.
All right, so everybody, come back. Come back.
I'm here. You can hear.
All right. So check this out, right?
Yes.
All right. So what you were saying in lines with what we're saying. Okay, we are a creation of the Trinity, right?
Correct.
Then if that is the case, right? We are products and aspects of Christ and or the God. Why is it that God is or allowed the severance and the severance of our telomeres so that we would not become or wake up to who we were.
There's
So
actually a
true.
really decent reason for that.
Think about that.
What was thought of is that the humans had too long of a life, so you could basically wreak too much havoc. The problem is now your life is too short, so there's no point in even pursuing the greater aspects of enlightenment. You're just going to be dead in a single century. What can you learn in one century? So whatever the right way is, I'm sure I don't know, but there are different.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
But
I think we can all
looking
agree,
at that in lifespan,
but maybe
since
like
you
too long too. You know.
yeah. I mean, Methuselah, 900 and something years, and but then when you look at the Sumerian kings list, we're talking about 8 kings that ruled for over 240,000 years. So their lifespans was in the thousands. Is that just, gauged off of the bureau that goes around our sun every 3,600 years, or did they really live that long on Earth? And that's a question that kind of puzzles me, like what you were saying with the telomere caps, because some people don't like him, but Ben Carson's video that talks about the telomere caps that we were capped off because of the falling angels, because of the association with the natural creation that the creator created us to be. So we got bumped down from 900 something years to what is the lifespan now, to 120. And it's really, really 80 years, 80 to 90. The way, I'm about to smoke a cigarette now. Mine's going to be about 63, and that's 3 years from now. But, but what I'm saying is that, how the evolution of man with those telomere caps, and, Cassie kind of onto something, that they capped us off because they didn't want us to be able to master the different, bringing the two to the one, like what you were saying, to get to that crystal oil and understand how to utilize it every 30 days, like when it happens to you naturally, where we're trying to learn about lining up chakras and different things like that to get to that crystal oil to happen, to get this enlightening situation.
Right.
But what I think with those go ahead, please. I'll talk a lot, bro.
Something that is often overlooked, like when it comes to Methuselah, we have to understand that was all pre-Great Flood. Now, the Great Flood being known in the scientific community as the Younger Dryas event. You have to understand that when what a lot of people just forget is all those things, assuming for the sake of argument, all the stories are true. Methuselah was a real guy, right? That was during the age of Atlantean technology. We're living in the age of Promethean technology now. These are radically different things. What that could mean, I don't know, but I think that we should all be figuring this out together as a collective.
Why do I hear that they can reverse the telomere caps? Have you guys heard about that? Someone had posed that there's colloidal gold and all these different things can reconnect the caps. And I'm like, man, look, I don't even want to go to a brain surgeon, let alone trying to, take DMT, and this takes you past the telomere caps. I mean, what's the deal with all that stuff, man?
Okay, so one of the things that I'm very, very proud of, one of the great big episodes that we talked about on the show is that you can alter your DNA from within your own mind, utilizing the right techniques and tools. And at the time we started the show, everybody was like, "That's crazy, Cass. That's no way." But since then, the biologists and whatnot have come to the conclusion that, oh shit, you can change your DNA. This includes your telomere caps. Okay, what the telomeres, what their job is to do is to recreate any damaged DNA and repair it. The problem is that they're programmed to only do this a certain number of times. I think it's 50 something, like 52, whatever. So the thing is that by utilizing these techniques and the right sound casting equipment, you can completely repair your telomeres. The question is how and who wants to be the one to volunteer, because there's going to be some trial and error, and you don't want to be that first guy to volunteer and get turned into a baby, or something like that. One of the things that you guys are going to have to start understanding and accepting is that the physicists proved that tachyons exist about 2 decades ago. When that happened, the entire world changed. because that's proof that particles can move backwards through what you call time. That is such an important piece of information. It is truly, it's transitory, but it's been forgotten. So once tachyon were no longer theoretical, everybody should have been reevaluating physics from the ground up. That's just my opinion, though, and I could be wrong. I'm crazy after all.
It's
I'm
funny.
drinking blue Kool-Aid out of a jar live. I'm crazy.
You hillbilly.
Oh, God, yes. Hell yeah. I am so proud of my family. Okay, so my mama's family, we's hillbillies. Like, we're talking about that.
I drink tea out of a mason jar, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my mom
I love glass better.
She was able to legitimately scare him that if he showed up on the family land, the family would eat him. That's the level of hillbilly we are, folks. All the way up into hill fucking Billy. And I'm saying that a lot.
The first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. They said California. Okay. But hey, let's plan this, guys. Let's go ahead and do this. What I want to do, because he's making that face that I got right there. That's not me. Hey, it looks like me a little bit with that lip stuck up there. But I want you guys to hang out after we end here, real quick, Matthew and Cass, as we're gonna go backstage. But I want to tell everyone else that this is just the start of this. I mean, just from Untwisting Time to Lightwing Live to Matrix Mind and what we're about to do, me and Eldon with the Truth and Lies. It's coming to the fact that we're trying to get to truth. We're trying to separate from I'm going to say it, the bullshitters, from the ones that can truly give you some facts to get your theories and your hypothesis together to try to understand what's going on our planet. Because I don't want to be, I tell you, I don't want to be stuck like the War of the Worlds, unaware of what the hell is really going on when it was just a program. Like that dude made that damn video the other day. It's so ridiculous. And so many people, and I'm glad Cassidy said, don't even put it up there, Benny.
That's a cool graphic. Whoever did that, it's a really good graphic.
Yeah, that's Eldon.
Go ahead and play the. What I'd love to do is I like to play that because that's the show that's coming. If you for the next Untwisting Times, I look forward to the Truth and Lies. Hang on, guys. sir. And the reckoning has begun. Look for the next Untwisting Time. Hey, look for Matthew Turner on Matrix Mind. Look for him here together. Look for Cassidae Lightwing on what things he does. But then, you know, we're coming together, man. We're bringing great minds together. Hang around, guys. I want you backstage. Like I said, Big Brother wants to, give a little holler at us. But thank you guys for joining us in Untwisting Time, and look forward to. I'm gonna try to get these guys in here again on Thursday so we can, talk about just tearing up that grid that you put over our brains for too long, man. Peace and love, Minister K.I., the Anunnaki teacher. You guys want to say bye to everybody, the crews out there, but look forward to seeing you guys then.